Irish guy and right. Premier League Game Week 11. Let's see the absolute nuttiness that unfolded. Let's see if I got any predictions right. Right, let's go. Everton 1, Brighton 1. Play the clip.
Everton 3, Brighton 3. There are always goals in this fixture. This is absolutely going to be a goal fest. And first on match of the day, honestly, lads, if this game is somehow last on match of the day, then I will pour 5 litres of scrambled egg on my face.
Oh no!
Oh, thanks, Everton. Oh, it's so eggy. It's so eggy. Smells awful.
I hate this. Lads, what are the odds? There have been 16 goals in the last 3 meetings between these clubs. Me predicting that a usually bonkers fixture like this one would avoid last spot in match of the day was not an outlandish thought. This would be a bit like predicting that the weird bloke whose act consists of picking his nose and chewing off his own warts would fail his audition for Britain's Got Talent. But no, thanks Everton and Brighton for playing out an actually hideous match. To be fair, Sean Dyche will be furious. The Toffees were leading this game 1-0 for 77 minutes. Sure, they only had 20% of the ball, but so this was almost an absolute Dyche master class. Only for Ashley Young to someone score one of the most ridiculous own goals of all time. Neither side will be thrilled with the point, but another weekend of no milk. Oh, by the way, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. It would mean the absolute world to me, you absolute legends. Trying to get to 200k, hit that button. You absolute heroes. Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. Play the clip!
Newcastle 1, Arsenal 0. But you know what? I think Newcastle will win this one. I think this could be an incredibly tense, thrilling mile-a-minute match. This will actually be the game of the weekend. I reckon Sean Longstaff will drive in an 80th minute winner. The ground will absolutely erupt, and Arteta will do his post-match interview looking like a 9-year-old boy who's just discovered that Santa Claus put in his shoe.
Yes! 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 Once again, I get his scoreline 100% perfect. My streak of getting one right per weekend continues. Lads, Arsenal had not lost 1-0 at this ground since 2005. Arsenal had not lost a Premier League match since May. This Gunners team were, okay, whisper it quietly, but trying to be the next Invincibles. Honestly, if you'd given it another month of no defeats, you would have had annoying pundits screaming,
"Oh, this is just like the team from 2004.
Well, lads, this was a bit like 2004 because back then, Newcastle were everybody's last hope to beat Arsenal. 11th of April 2004, St. James's Park. People thought that is where the Gunners would finally slip up. Even Match Magazine said so. I mean, why not? Alan Shearer scored nearly 30 goals that year in a season where Newcastle finished 5th and beat Southampton, Portsmouth, Man City, Tottenham, Leeds, Fulham, Leicester, Middlesbrough, Charlton, Everton, Chelsea, NAC, Breda, Basel, Valencia, Mallorca, and PSV at home. But no, Arsenal survived with a 0-0. Not here though. Newcastle are the ones who stopped this team being invincible. Anyway, Mikel Arteta right now is probably choking on tears on Weetabix this morning. The Man City is embarrassed that it is a disgrace that VAR allowed Anthony Gordon's winner. Now, first of all, Arteta, should you not be more concerned by the fact that your £70 million Havertz morphed into Cobra Kai, deciding to absolutely lunge into Sean Longstaff? A bit like Jonah Hill when he sees the steak aisle at a 5-star buffet. Havertz absolutely karate chopped Longstaff. That should have been an instant red in the first half, but the referee said no. I never usually complain about referees, but I'm sorry, Stuart Atwell had an awful afternoon. So many terrible calls. He even gave Arsenal a corner kick when the ball clearly went out for the throw. I'm still amazed this guy ever carved out a career as a Premier League ref, considering his debut to English football as a 25-year-old novice was being the guy who gave Reading a goal against Watford in 2008 when the ball went nowhere near the line. It was actually on the other side of the net. One of the most confusing goals ever. That is his legacy. One of the biggest gaffes in refereeing history. So how is he now, 14 years later, at the age of 41, being given a mega match like Newcastle versus Arsenal on Sky? Anyway, the Gunners try to beat Newcastle at their own game. Clearly still furious with the Magpies for trying to waste time in that 0-0 draw at the Emirates back in January. Honestly, that match got into Arteta's head because this game, the entire first half just consisted of Arsenal's players rolling around on the floor, slowing the match down, frustrating the home crowd.
Oh, how do you like this medicine?
This game was paused for an entire minute to let Declan Rice tie his shoe. Are we for real? I know he's a £100 million prince of England, and all the referees probably queue up to beg for a selfie with him after the game for their son, but come on! So I get why Arteta is frustrated. Instead of focusing on setting his team out to play a fluid, attacking, brave match, he fumbled it. Their entire game plan was just to be disruptive and awkward. A bit like how KSI probably regrets hugging Tommy Fury for 6 rounds, instead of, actually trying to box. Listen, yes, the goal was maybe a little bit dodgy, but can we definitely say the ball went out of play? No. It's like the Luis Garcia ghost goal. Again, why are there so many ghost goals involving Atwell? But yeah, we don't know if the ball crossed the line. Although beIN Sports have an angle which seems to say it was still in play. Look, Richard Keys and Andy Gray look so smug and pleased with themselves. I bet I'm gonna see someone miss a penalty in the Women's Super League.
See, we told you they should go back to making us pancakes and hoovering my snot on the living room rug.
They're probably just gonna both die alone, dripping in steak juice and wee, eaten by their own German shepherds. But was Joelinton fouling Gabriel Magalhaes? Really? 2 hands on his back is now a registered foul on a 6'3" monster centre back who probably drinks creatine and protein shakes for breakfast. Honestly, Joelinton and Gabriel will be a monster MMA match or a boxing fight. They're both Brazilian powerhouses who probably feast on baby goats for dinner. So no, I don't accept Gabriel collapsing like his knees were made of popcorn. And finally, was Gordon offside? Maybe, but maybe does not equal a disgrace. Calm down, Mikel. Man City 6, Bournemouth 1. Play the clip.
Man City 2, Bournemouth 2. Everybody is sleeping on Bournemouth. Everybody thinks they're probably going to be ripped apart on Saturday. But no, I genuinely believe we're about to watch Man City, for the first time ever, drop Premier League points against the Cherries before absolute scenes when Luis Sinisterra pings an absolute wonder goal into the top bins with just 3 minutes left to absolutely silence the Etihad and produce the result of the weekend. Trust me, this is going to be the match where Iriola proves he is special.
Oh dear. This is surely my worst prediction of the season so far. Lads, I have backed Andoni Iriola to be an absolute superstar manager. And yet in this game, he does exercise the tactical nous of a poorly hamster. But to be fair, this happens over and over again in this fixture. Over the last 8 years, City have feasted on the Cherries as if they're a fat vegan at a picnic. It is absolutely nothing unusual for City to grill Bournemouth like a steak sandwich. It's just, what is extra annoying is that I saw Jeremy Doku's horrific stats in France. And after all his hype at Euro 2020, I thought that ever since then, the world had realized that he was just some chunky winger, the end product of Charles Nzogbia. Anyone remember him? Just some obscure winger who 15 years ago was kicking up a fuss about wanting to quit Newcastle for a Champions League club, and then he gets his dream moved to Wigan. Yeah, I thought Doku was the next Nzogbia. You know, if Nzogbia had been addicted to Pop-Tarts and cake. Last I heard about that man is he failed a trial at Sunderland, but that was 7 years ago. I hope he's still alive. But no, instead, Doku scores a goal and registers 4 assists. Doku looked absolute magic. He did more in one afternoon than Grealish has done in his entire City career. Honestly, the quick feet, the dropping of the shoulder, the step overs, the first touch, the absolute directness. Grealish is someone who will receive the ball outright and then just stare at his opponent, absolutely slowing the game down as he takes about half an hour to decide what he's going to do with the ball. Grealish is a £100 million winger who looks lost and confused whenever he gets the ball now. He's so eager to please that you can see he's got Guardiola's homework running through his brain. The bloke has about as much freedom as a blind goldfish. He's like that obedient nerd who refuses to join his mates playing with fireworks in a field for fear of his parents confiscating his Skyrim game. I don't know, do kids still play Skyrim? I just associate that game with socially awkward geeks who hadn't showered in at least 14 months. But yeah, Doku absolutely destroyed Bournemouth. Although in my prediction, I said it would be 2-2, with Luis Sinisterra banging in a dramatic late equaliser, his first goal for the club. I was sort of right. He did score. This fella on loan from Leeds netted his first Bournemouth goal. It's just not his fault that his fellow teammates chose to defend like a gang of one-legged mice. Well, listen, for all those screaming,
"Oh, Iriola must be sacked!"
Please stop drinking crazy juice. This happens. Eddie Howe lost 5-1 in his first visit to the Etihad. Raheem Sterling scored a hat-trick. Yeah, this is back in 2015, when it was sort of embarrassing to let that man score more than one, as he had the feeble goal-scoring instincts of a pregnant bumblebee. But yeah, Howe underwent that shameful afternoon, but look at him now, a Champions League manager. So leave Iriola alone. It was just one afternoon. Brentford 3, West Ham 2. Play the clip.
Brentford 3, West Ham 0. Brentford will absolutely rip them to bits with goals from Brian Mbemo, Christian Norgard, and I'm gonna go with a Kurt Zuma own goal. I mean, maybe it won't be here, but someone in that West Ham team is scoring an own goal. I know they are. I can feel it.
How did I know? Yeah, I know I sound like a mini Whitney Houston, but I'm sorry. I knew someone in the West Ham team would be scoring an own goal. Guess what, lads? The Hammers don't concede own goals regularly at all. The last time any West Ham player stuck the ball into his own net was against Man City in May 2022. They didn't score a single own goal all of last season in any competition. Vladimir Kufal in that 2-2 draw with City, what, a year and a half ago? That was the last one. So do you know how unlikely it was for Konstantinos Mavropanos to stick the ball into his own net after the ogre of predictions had called it? It was about as likely a thing to occur as, I don't know, my sister turning into a mermaid and choosing to celebrate by biting the head head off a shark. But lads, another weird thing that I predicted from last week was I predicted Nathan Collins scores first B's goal. Bear in mind, this is an nearly 23-year-old centre-back who before this match had more transfers than he had goals in English football. He'd only netted a sad and limp 4, and yet I predicted him to score an 89th minute equaliser at Stamford Bridge last week. He didn't, but here he scores a 69th minute winner. Just a week later, this limited forecast that Joe Willock scored a 3-0 win for Newcastle at Wolves. He didn't, but he did 4 days later at Old Trafford. Yeah, I'm late again! Yeah, the 4 most terrifying words any woman can ever say to Kanye West. Well, listen, a good win for Brentford, but I would imagine that Neil Maupay will spend this weekend strutting about the place as if he's Logan Paul. This man who finally scored again after what? Over a year with a big bag of nothing? Lads, for a centre forward who was begging Argentina for a call-up last year. That mega goal drought is more embarrassing than the last 15 seasons of The Simpsons. But here he nets an early header against West Ham, and yeah, was probably pretty forgetful about how to actually celebrate a goal. Honestly, in front of all those TV cameras, in that moment he probably felt a bit self-conscious. And so if someone asked me to do a ballet recital on the news, yeah, I mean, I'd sooner shove a liter of ice cream up my nose. But yeah, great topsy-turvy win for the Bees. Although Mohamed Kudus' acrobatic scissor kick volley goal of the season. Can we all sort of just wake up and wonder how on earth this 23-year-old Ghanaian sensation, someone with the acrobatic technique levels of Zlatan, is actually playing for West Ham? It's funny, I remember a couple of years ago when the club captain Mark Lundgren was moaning and crying on social media, so upset that the Hammers had let go of a generational talent like Brady Diangana, letting him go to West Brom. Yeah, I mean, he's 2 years older than Kudus and is an average championship level puppet. I mean, put him next to Kudus and he looks about as talented as a hungry toad. Sheffield United 2, Wolves 1. Play the clip.
Sheffield United 0, Wolves 1. It's Sheffield United. Of course they're gonna lose.
Whoops! How did I get this one so wrong? Predicting Sheffield United to lose a match. This should have been a home run, but no. Instead, they were in the first Premier League game since May 2021. Oh, isn't that just great? This was the match where Gary Neville demonstrated why is it actually an overhyped English coach who was incredibly lucky to be invited on MNF. Honestly, he must have felt like that creepy kid who gets a golden ticket to visit that chocolate factory when the Sky producer gave him a ring. Nobody will remember this guy's insignificant Premier League career as a player, but I do. To me, the most memorable chunk of his career was back when he was a winger at Portsmouth. Both he and teammate Sean Davis, 2 players who were supposed to be apparently competing for an England call-up apparently, they made a fairly arrogant bet in the summer that neither one would cut their hair until they scored. This clearly angered the footballing overlords because O'Neill didn't score until mid-January 2007. Weirdly, that was at Bramall Lane. I remember the sight of this man giddily running to the crowd and pulling at all of his now stupidly long hair that must have stunk of cheese. As for Davis, he didn't score all season long and just had to embarrassingly give up and just slink into the barbershop without anybody noticing. So to me, O'Neill has always been a bit of a clown. But anyway, fair play to the Blades. Cameron Archer unleashed an absolute thunderbolt in off the crossbar before Jean-Luc Bellegarde silenced the stadium with a top corner finish for Wolves in the 89th minute before Sheffield United are granted a late soft penalty after Fabio Silva tries to pull out of a tackle. But yeah, Oliver Norwood then proceeds to stick the power of Zeus into his penalty, absolutely ballooning it into the top bins. But yeah, fair play, Blades. Fulham 0, Man United 1. Play the clip.
Fulham 1, Man United 2. Yeah, Fulham will take an early lead through Willian before Christian Eriksen whips in a thunderous free kick in the second half before, yeah, a late winner from an underperforming Marcus Rashford. Or maybe Mason Mount.
Well, I said Man United would score a late winner, but it didn't really play out like I said. For some reason, Man United always seem to like breaking Fulham hearts. With a winner, Craven Cottage in the last minute, it's almost like they get an extra kick out of seeing the Fulham fans cry. Honestly, it's always such a cruel, dramatic twist. And yeah, here we have Bruno Fernandes banging in the last minute winner to cause the home support to, feel like they just discovered maggots in their halftime pie. But you know what? In this game, I want to single out Harry Maguire for praise. I know, in recent weeks, the praise has been patronizing because the pundits and media have realized they've been too mean to him. Honestly, ever since his mummy started babbling in the media, everyone has started to think,
maybe we should stop bullying him.
Like when people called him a hero after scoring in a 1-0 win over Copenhagen. Not really. It's a tiny Danish outfit. We've got the transfer budget of a homeless shelter. Half the squad are probably just giving cheap McFlurries as their pre-match meal. But here, it looked like the centre-back played the entire match with a concussion after getting wiped out in the first half. Now, if it's proven that he actually did take a whack to the brain, then listen, I don't care that he usually looks like a dopey mountain troll. Letting him play an hour and a half of elite sport when he's probably seeing double and dribbling when he spoke, not the best decision. Pretty sure any average nurse would probably vomit in disgust. Luton Town 1, Liverpool 1. Play the clip.
Luton Town 0, Liverpool 6. Who predicts a 6-0 win? Are you telling me that Liverpool are not capable of travelling to Luton Town's garden shed and not scoring 6? Actual 6. Just you watch. I'm gonna look like a complete genius. And if Liverpool don't win at this ground, I'll get someone to slap a sausage roll off my face.
Whoops.
Yeah, I couldn't get anyone else to do it, so, Ow! I felt like I was just punched in the mouth. Why did I do it again?
To be fair, a great moment for Luis Diaz, scoring a late header to rescue his team a point. But Luton Town must be devastated. Absolutely floored. They were 15 seconds away from the greatest night in their history. They had dug in, held in there, 0-0. Darwin Núñez missed an open goal from 3 yards out. I'm sorry, after his 2 goals against Newcastle in August, wasn't he supposed to be back? Is this like when the Chelsea fans kept trying to pretend Timo Werner was always back? No! Lads, Ross Barkley had a mega magic match in midfield. Probably his best game of football since he quit Everton. And ex-Manchester United misfit Tai Chong somehow puts Luton 1-0 up with a counter-attacking goal with just 10 minutes left. This would be the greatest day in Luton Town's history. To go from conference football 10 years ago to beating Jurgen Klopp in the Premier League. He was literally managing in a Champions League final. The same season, they failed to win 15 games in the conference, slumping to 7th, just 1 point ahead of Dartford and Braintree Town. It's the equivalent of in the year 2033 seeing Simone Inzaghi losing a Premier League match to Bromley. This would have been a bit like Nottingham Forest beating the Reds 1-0 a year ago, which really kickstarted their season. But no, Diaz scores a late equalizer, which the Luton fans, they must have felt sick. But honestly, fair play Diaz. It was a nice moment. Nottingham Forest 2, Aston Villa 0. Wow, what a win. I said that Aston Villa would tear Nottingham Forest apart. But instead, this was a tired, sloppy Villa display. Goals from Ola Aina and Oral Mangala gave the home side a disciplined, comfortable 2-0 win. Unai Emery will have hated this match. For a proud European elite coach like him, a perfectionist, to lose a tactical duel with someone who looks like Darth Vader without the mask, to lose against a manager who looks like he regularly gets his face trapped in a toaster, it is a bit embarrassing. It was a complete and total off day for Villa. Lads, Emiliano Martinez is fresh off the Ballon d'Or carpet. He was given the Lev Yashin Goalkeeping Award, a prize which recognizes him as the best goalie in the world. Why, you mean the bloke who's replaced at Arsenal by Aaron Ramsdale? The guy who, according to Mikel Arteta's rationale and ranking system, would be 3rd choice goalie at Arsenal right now, just eating cookies on the bench? The Gunners' version of Scott Carson? I don't get it. Did Martinez spend the entire Ballon d'Or ceremony sneakily drinking vodka out of a Costa Coffee cup? Did the award simply just go to his head? Is he now walking around with the brash bravado of Oliver Kahn? Or I don't get it. Because here, one of the most embarrassing howlers of the season. He pulls off an acrobatic save, yeah, but the ball just goes vertically in the air. It went up and then came right back down. Just like a rocket in a Roadrunner cartoon. And it just bounces over the line. Just horrible. Burnley 0, Crystal Palace 2. Oh, so this is grim. Here we have Burnley. Naive little Burnley getting absolutely pulled apart by Crystal Palace. I said the Vincent Company would pull off Turf Moor's first Burnley win of the season. But now instead, they once again let themselves expose at the back. There were defensive howlers like Jordan Beyer gifting the ball to Jordan Ayew. A complete Jordan Square disaster. And the what next? Are we going to see Michael Jordan getting tackled by Katie Price in the Tesco milk aisle? But yeah, Burnley right now are in trouble. Anyway, that's it for what you let me know what you think. Let me know in the comments below. How did you think this game went? Let me know. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to give a like. As always, I'll talk to you in a while.